The Buffalo Bills obviously have a lot of players on the hot seat versus the Chicago Bears. Tremaine Edmunds on their team. Will he be playing today? Welcome to my channel, Bills News Consolidated. I want to talk about all the players, all the player competition, what I think is ultimately going to happen with this 53-man roster. A ton of surprises for you in this video, but let's get right into it. Tremaine Edmunds, unfortunately, missed practice, several practices this week for the Chicago Bears. He will not be playing, although he will be ready for week 1. Starting the season for them. But of course, Tremaine Edmunds dealing with a couple of injuries, not going against the Buffalo Bills, although it will be great to see him on that football field. But we got a ton to get into. These position battles really starting at quarterback with backup quarterback. I really don't see the Buffalo Bills keeping 3 quarterbacks this season. It's going to be Josh Allen and another quarterback. Right, so I really think the Bills have to make a decision between Matt Barkley and also Kyle Allen. And one thing I want to point to, Matt Barkley had 4 turnovers last week, 3 interceptions. And when you take a look at all those interceptions, the first one was really Matt Barkley taking a calculated risk. The linebacker didn't have his eyes on Matt Barkley. He looked away. Matt Barkley threw the ball, and at the last second, linebacker looked back, threw his hands up in the air, tipped the ball up, and a different Pittsburgh Steeler intercepted it. For the next interception, Matt Barkley threw the ball against a slot corner blitz, and the cornerback stuck his hand up in the air, batted the ball, deflected it to himself, making a remarkable play. So really, both those interceptions by the Steelers and Matt Barkley were just remarkable plays. And then what happened on the third interception, you had a guy, Khalil Shakir, going against Joey Porter Jr. Khalil Shakir gets jammed at the line of scrimmage by Joey Porter, makes him stumble and actually throws him out of bounds, and Joey Porter picked Matt Barkley off. So those 3 interceptions, although they were horrible, really swung the game around, made Matt Barkley look really bad. I still think Barkley is still in this competition with Kyle Allen. Now, who is going to start behind Josh Allen today? I think it should be Kyle Allen, just to see where Kyle Allen is at, kind of know what we have in Matt Barkley. And then these running backs, too. The Buffalo Bills really have to get Damian Harris involved here. I know he was dealing with a little bit of a knee injury. He was a little bit banged up, but I definitely think it'd be wise to give Damian Harris some carries heading into this season. Latavius Murray is balled out for Bills Mafia, not only running it, but also catching it and receiving it in the screen game for Bills Mafia. And getting into these wide receivers, the biggest decision I think the Buffalo Bills have is at wide receiver. We have so many talented guys, and really the reason is Andy Isabella. Andy Isabella having a ton of yards after catch this preseason for the Buffalo Bills, coming in, learning this offense in 2 weeks, really understanding this offense, and I think could potentially be surpassing Khalil Shakir. And Khalil Shakir, I know he's dealing with the banged up ribs right now, which really does not help him out. He does get some chunk plays, but his yard after catch ability, only coming down with 1 first down reception. We really saw Khalil Shakir going against some top-notch talent in the NFL, and I don't know. I was expecting a lot more, especially on the perimeter. And the fact with Khalil Shakir is he has value on being a perimeter and also a slot wide receiver. But you saw what happened against Joey Porter Jr., getting tossed at the line of scrimmage. So, is he really a perimeter wide receiver in this league? I think that proved that he might not be. And then in the slot, we saw him drop that first down in the preseason, right? Comparing him to Andy Isabella, to Deontay Hardy, to Trent Sherfield, and what they've been able to do. Plus, Khalil Shakir didn't do punt return. He didn't do kick return. He did do special teams, but I don't think he was even as good on special teams as Justin Shorter. Justin Shorter had 5 receptions, had a 17-yard reception. I think it was the 3rd longest reception of any Buffalo Bill this preseason. Really, I think Justin Shorter could actually have surpassed Khalil Shakir. We're talking about cutting players. Maybe Khalil is banged up and we put him on the PUP, But maybe the Bills just completely forego that and actually cut Khalil Shakir, and they actually keep Justin Shorter, and they keep Andy Isabella. So that's something to key in on today. Justin Shorter needs to ball out of control today. I think Andy Isabella needs to continue doing what he's been doing. And also Khalil Shakir, he just needs to be on point today and extra solid. I'm really eyeing that up. On the interior of this offensive line between Ike Bucker, David Edwards, so many guys, Anderson, right? Alec Anderson. There's so many guys that have balling out. Greg Mance, David Questenberry, Kyle Van DeMark, too, playing on right tackle on the left tackles. I mean, this offensive line really needs to get sorted out. And really the most important position here for the Bills is middle linebacker, A.J. Klein, Tyrell Dotson. And I've been talking about it here. Why have a decision? Why do we need to have a decision made at middle linebacker depending on what happens during games into the season? Why not leave it be an open competition into the season, especially after hearing Sean McDermott say the flow and communication at that middle linebacker isn't the problem? Even listening to players on this team, they're like, oh, I can't really tell who's even in that middle linebacker because the communication and flow of the defense is seamless and the same. So if we know that, and we know that it's really just all about overall impact and overall play, why not bring in a linebacker that matches up well against that opposing defense? Or if we have a linebacker out there and he starts having a bad game, pull him out and put A.J. Klein in or put Dotson in. Vice versa, or Terrell Bernard if they're passing the ball against us. Maybe we want to match up linebackers. So to say that we need to declare a starting middle linebacker for the Buffalo Bills isn't necessarily the case. Now, we might see a preference throughout the season that, we're starting a player majority of the time, but why not rotate things in, especially if they start screwing things up? Also, outside corner, Kaiir Elam definitely has gotten beat the past couple weeks. Not much, not bad, but, we want him to be a shutdown, lockdown corner. Same with Christian Benford, Dane Jackson, the rotation of those guys, overall impact. We're looking for guys to make plays, interceptions, sacks, forced fumbles, batted balls. We need to make an impact. You need to show up across the stat line in order to make this 53-man roster. And obviously Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, Quentin Morris, the tight ends are going to be solidifying things on offense. Safeties with Damar Hamlin, Taylor Rapp, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Cam Lewis, Taron Johnson, Ciaran Neal, all mixing in there. I think really the Buffalo Bills have a tough decision on defensive end as well. The players that we have here with Kingsley Jonathan, Leonard Floyd, Shaq Lawson, AJ Epinesa, Greg Rousseau, there's just so much depth on the Boogie Basham, right? There's so much depth, and then Von Miller too. Shane Ray gets hurt. Klein is also mixing in, but it's going to be tough to see. And I really think that Kingsley Jonathan most likely will be cut again by the Buffalo Bills just because he lacks the overall experience. Just like we cut him last year, he went to Chicago, and then we claimed him back. Keep in mind, other teams have other player issues and depth issues too. So if Kingsley Jonathan goes to a different team, he could very well get cut again, and we bring him back again, just like we did in 2022. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and go Bills.